Have you ever been deep in a YouTube rabbit hole, just clicking from one video to the next, and then noticed your computer starts to, well, slow to a crawl? I think we've all been there. And it turns out the reason for that slowdown might be way more surprising than you think. Today, we are pulling back the curtain on a hidden performance cost of, you guessed it, the biggest video platform on the planet.
You know exactly what I'm talking about, right? You're a few videos in, and all of a sudden your laptop's fan just kicks into overdrive. It sounds like a jet engine. Your mouse starts to lag, and the whole system feels like it's trying to move through molasses. It's super frustrating, and for years, most of us just figured, hey, my computer's probably just getting old. But it turns out that's not the whole story.
For so long, we just accepted it as part of the deal. But what if it wasn't just a random thing? What if there was a very specific, very real reason for all that lag? Well, a recent discovery completely blew this whole mystery wide open. And what it shows is a total game changer, especially if you care about how your computer actually performs. So our story really kicks off in early 2026. A team of independent researchers decided to really get in there and dig into the code that makes YouTube tick. They weren't just looking at the obvious stuff like, network speeds or video quality. Nope. They were looking at the code that runs in the background, the stuff you never see. And that's where they found it. A direct connection between YouTube's anti-AdBlock tactics and those performance problems we've all been experiencing.
And boom, here it is. This is the smoking gun. What the researchers found was pretty shocking. They discovered that YouTube's scripts, the ones designed to detect ad blockers, were causing, and I'm quoting here, extreme CPU spikes. Now, let's just pause on that for a second. The wording here is so important. This isn't just your computer running a little slow. We're talking about a direct, aggressive drain on your computer's resources, and they traced it back to a very specific piece of code.
Okay, so what in the world does all of this actually mean in plain English? Let's break down some of this technical talk and really get into the real-world impact of these ad block detection scripts and these so-called CPU spikes.
All right, think of your computer's CPU as its brain, or maybe its engine. A CPU spike is basically like you're in a traffic jam and you decide to just slam your foot on the gas. The engine roars, it burns a ton of fuel, it gets super hot, but you're not going anywhere. That is exactly what's happening to your computer. It's working like crazy, which is why you hear the fan and feel the heat, but it's not actually getting anything productive done. And that kind of stress, over time, it puts a lot of unnecessary wear and tear on your machine's components.
And the thing causing your computer's engine to redline? It's the very scripts that YouTube put in place to make sure you see their ads. It's kind of ironic, right? The code that's supposed to protect their ad revenue is the same code that's making the viewing experience miserable for a lot of people. It's a textbook case of the cure being way, way worse than the disease.
This whole thing, it's not really just a story about YouTube. It's bigger than that. It's a story about the relationship between these massive online platforms and us, the users. It's about the hidden price we pay for free services and all these invisible things happening on our own computers that we have almost no say in.
So this brings us to the big question. Where do we draw the line? At what point does a website's code stop being a necessary part of the service and start becoming a burden on your hardware? Is a slow computer, a battery that drains way too fast, and a fan that won't shut up, is that just the price of admission for a free service? This is the central question that this research really forces all of us to think about as we try to figure out our place in this wild digital world.